Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we're going to review and dissect the Women's British E-Racing National Championship. Joined by resident Zwift champion stroke expert.
Champion? What anything ever.
Champion in my eyes.
Thanks, mate.
Tim Fulford.
Here we go. So the format is elimination race, points race, scratch race. Same as the men's, same distances. So the biggest thing out of the elimination race that I saw was Mary Wilkinson tearing it up this hill, and then the insanity of Rosamund Bradbury's cadence.
129 there?
129, 120, 122, 123. And later on we'll get some footage of her like live in the studio. It was unbelievable. It was like a washing machine.
We know the results. Hopefully everyone knows the results, so it's not going to be a surprise to know that Rosamund won. And I don't think she was even touted as one of the favourites to win. Her numbers were strong, but she'd
never ridden a kicker till the weekend before. She'd never ridden a smart trainer. Yeah,
she qualified on a dumb trainer, on a wheel-on dumb trainer. So to jump on a kicker, which are pretty difficult to ride, and a lot of the Madison Genesis boys were complaining that they felt so different compared to what they were used to riding.
Yep,
but she just jumped on it and boom, like a duck to water.
Yeah, and there we go with Rosamund again. Big numbers, big sat down spinning numbers.
I don't think she got out of the saddle once during any race, did she?
No, I don't think she did. But it was interesting to see how the women attacked the elimination differently to the men. And I think it probably split up a little bit quicker, and it was more obvious each lap who was going to get spat. But as you can see here, it's just full on.
Yeah. So you got Leah Dixon. Is Leah Dixon the Zwift All Stars rider there?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So in this field right now, Sharon Bird rides for the All Stars. Leah Dixon rides for All Stars. Mary Wilkinson rides for the Academy team, and then Brewer and Fox. I think they're Fearless for one of them, and then unattached. I mean, 132 RPM.
And Bradbury just rides for herself and does what she wants. She's the maverick.
Just incredible.
Yeah, she was phenomenal all throughout the whole of the three races, weren't she? Really, and I think the consistency came in and proved that to win a championship like this, you need to be consistent all the way through it.
Absolutely.
There you go. Was that Corinne Fox that just got eliminated there?
And Leah Dixon, which meant that we only had 3 left.
Leah Dixon, maybe.
But I don't know who the fourth
was supposed to be. There we go. Mary got disqualified.
Yeah, so it's just down
Mary's
to Sharon
setting the pace at the front.
Rosamund. And it's
so Sharon there. Sorry to interrupt you there, Tim. Sharon there has got the green jersey. How much does that count for anything? I don't know, but it obviously proves that she is a fast sprinter.
She used an aero on the second sprint.
Right, so she's not.
Which probably
she just
helped.
She just aeroed it to victory.
Probably helps.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
so look
like
at
the women, the men is like the men. The women's was pretty cagey. You wouldn't see this in any other race. 2.2 and 1.
I wish we did. I wish we did see it in other races, like my races.
You might have a chance then.
I know. This would be brilliant. So Rosamund's on the concept bike, which is
Rosamund's on the left-hand side and Sharon's on the right in this picture.
Sorry, it's head and shoulders above the Cervelo. I've tested them. I know. Cervelo's all right. It's all right, but there's definitely a distinct difference.
So there you go. Sharon's taking it up early, like before
very
we
early
even get to the hill. I think that was probably just to try and test how Rosamund's legs were. And as you can see, the cadence is through the roof again. It's phenomenal. And I think it's a demonstration of just Rosamund's power.
Look at that, 122.
She's just moving back up towards Sharon, not giving her a chance. Then when needed to, just takes it to the orange numbers to tell Zwift to just accelerate that a little bit more. Cadence is 118.
To say she's a rower, her cadence and her pedal technique and efficiency is strangely amazing. You wouldn't expect that from a rower who's not spent years and years on a bike.
What do you say about rowers?
Well, this is the leg movement for a rower, isn't it? Backwards and forwards, not round and round. So,
yeah, but you're still going along the same plane. There's no wobble in your knee.
Oh right, maybe that. Yeah.
So your knee is just going. Your knee's just going up and down, isn't it? Oh, you're suggesting the souplesse was impressive from Rosamund.
Yes, very much so.
Here we go. Coming into the final sprint, 1-on-1. That's where the climb kicks at climb lump gradient. Sharon's taking it up, but I don't think she kicked hard enough. She's just trying to sit in there, and then she goes for it. But it's at that point, you just
7 watts a kilo from Sharon there.
Yeah, and then you got the feather. I would have probably put that feather out a little bit earlier if I was Rosamund, but she admitted in all her interviews that she wasn't really a power-up expert. And it looks like Sharon didn't get one next time round, so maybe that early aero usage wasn't good. I mean, RPM at 135, 39.
141.
141 RPM.
Jesus. An easy victory in the end.
And then straight into an aero tuck.
So
great effort.
195 BPM as well. So going into the second race, unattached. That's what we like to see. Unattached riders smashing it at the front.
Hammer time on the front there, isn't it?
It is 152.
Here we go.
182 then. There from Leah Dixon.
Same climb as always, as same in the men as the women. 2-tiered uphill sprint. I hate it.
So this is the points race. Same format as the men's. 4 sprints overall with 3 laps around the volcano.
Yep.
5 points on offer for the winner of each sprint, down to 3, 2, and 1. Yes, Chris?
Yes, Chris.
Thank you, Zwift expert. So what we're seeing here, Leah Dixon on the front getting smashed to bits by Rosamund again.
Well, she just sat on the front a bit too long there, and then Rosamund's blown a late feather and just walked around her with silly cadence again, and Mary's up there as well. I think coming into it, you sort of had your eye on Leah and Mary and Sharon because of their prominence in Zwift previously. And therefore, you had a couple of unknown entities, Rosamund Bradbury being certainly one of them. Corinne Fox also doesn't do a lot of racing on Zwift, but is clearly quite good at it when she does. So you didn't know what you were going to get. And I don't know whether Mary was watching for Leah and Rosamund came round her or those sorts of things. But definitely a dynamic to be considered.
Yeah, so here already, Corinne Fox has been dropped 43 seconds with Leah Brown. Lexi, Lexi.
Leah Dixon and Lexi Brown.
It's an easy mistake to make.
When it just says L, yeah.
It is. And then you've got Claire Reid, who's also 31 seconds down. So
yeah,
with a heart rate of about 780 by now, probably. Can we do while we're watching this second sprint, and I've seen 2 draft boosts deployed. Is it time that draft boost was just killed? Is there a need for it? Is there a better power up that we could bring into it to replace it? Because what I tend to find, but you get to the front straight away and you've got no.
Yeah, but that's your own fault because you need to trust the draft. So if you trust your draft boost and you're in the draft, you should be able to do less than 100 watts to stay in it.
Really?
Yeah, you need to, people. If you go to the front with a draft boost, you're not using your power up properly.
It has no effect at all, does it?
No. So what you need to do is, like in an aero, when you push it, when you get the perfect time to have it for the longest amount of time, it's like using a feather on the flat. You wouldn't use a feather on the flat, would you? So
no, but look at that. Draft boost just been used there, and within seconds they're going to be at the front again.
Well, they need to not pedal as hard.
Well, all right, fair point.
And save their energy, and then
it's really difficult.
Leah Dixon shouldn't have done that there.
But now she's in the draft, so maybe it was perfect. What do you know, Zwift expert?
Yeah,
she's just got 3rd, 4th.
I would have used it going up the first hill.
Yeah, it's a long
so you
power.
Don't have to work as hard up it.
there's a lot of other factors that have to come into it. Where with a feather and an aero, you don't have to worry about other things, other people's positioning. You just smash it.
Yeah, that's true.
Rosamund, 13 points in the lead already after 3 sprints. So we're coming up for the double point sprints here. Well, as long as she scores 1 point, the only other person that can take it away from her right now is Mary.
Yeah, and I think that's an obvious demonstration of the difference between the men and the women's. The men was, in the points race, certainly it was more spread. The points were more evenly spread out. Here, you've had Rosamund and Mary sort of duke out first and second each time, which drags them away from everyone else. But again, final sprint there, no one is launched into massive orange numbers because they're going to want to hold that for the last sprint coming up now.
So
again, if anyone had an aero here, this is when you want to use it.
Boom. Press now.
Pop.
There's there you go, track boost.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's not, but look how quickly she gets there. You've got to be a brave person to sit there at 100 watts or 200 watts while everybody else is smashing big numbers to get the benefit of that draft.
You have to hit the appropriate amount of numbers. You can't just sit at 100.
No, but the numbers are a lot less. So when you're seeing people going orange, and ultimately she doesn't actually get any benefit from it. But Leah Dixon looks like she's going to take it. So Leah from Mary.
Actually. So Mary takes it, Leah, and I think that's really what keeps this fight really alive into the scratch race, because Mary takes the win overall, which brings her back towards Rosamund for the final showdown, and it really is between those two going into the final race.
So had Rosamund got second there, she would have. Am I right in thinking that she would have got more points going into that final round? She would have finished second overall instead of third overall, right? Oh no, she finished second overall.
She finished second overall anyway.
Ignore me.
But I think she would have had 8 points instead of 6.
Right.
So that would have been 19 instead of 17. So it would still not have mattered because Mary took the win.
Scratch race.
I could be wrong.
No, listen, Tim. Your maths are better than mine, so I will bow to your better judgment. I tell you what, there is more concept bikes in the women's race than there is in the men's, weren't there? There was only 2 in the men's.
Yep.
And here we're seeing 4.
Yeah. I think Rosamund's double tone Tron might be the fact that she's like halfway between 2 colours. You know, you can pick the colour of your wheels.
Yeah.
Maybe she's absolutely nailed the middle number.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe it's the Sigma Sport thing.
It could be that as well. So what we're looking at here is exactly the same scratch race as the men. So 2 laps around the reverse.
Yeah. What is that course, Chris?
It's a reverse.
Where does that course go, Chris?
Well, first it comes off of the beachfront here, which is called the Pritchard's seafront, and then it heads up the reverse climb where the aliens are. It goes over it passed Jeff's petrol station and Mary's sweet shop, and then it winds its way up past the S's and to this point here, which Tim then take over and talk us home.
Yeah, so this is the first climb up on the reverse KOM, and as we can see, Brewer, Fox, and Lexi Brown have unfortunately been dropped off at this point. So essentially, much like it coming down to Cameron Jeffers versus Madison Genesis in the men's, this was really a fight between Mary and Rosamund to see who would be national champion. And I think this is whittled down a little quicker than the men's. Which means it becomes a bit more tactical, really, because you've got less opportunity to put bodies between you and other people. So going into it, Mary obviously had to win, and I think she had 4 points. So even a first over second would have done it for Mary, but you would have won a bit more people in between you to just make it the same
as long as Mary finished in front of Rosamund, she would have won.
In first and second, yeah, from 25 points down to 20 points, yeah. Here we go, finishing off the first reverse KOM. No one has made any massive efforts to get off the front, and I don't think everyone really wanted to. There was 9K still to go. They've already done 2 races in a day. It's what, 8:30 at night. So I suppose KISS community time, kind of.
Yeah.
And here we go. This is probably
racing your legs.
Yeah, this is probably the most important part. So we've just skipped on. Nothing really happened in the second lap other than Miriam Jessup being a little bit dropped off just underneath the aliens. And you know, there are some people that are being like, this is where it was won, or this is where it was lost when you come down to these sorts of races. And I have a firm belief that, unfortunately, for Mary, this is where it was lost. You can see, and I think it's a 2-stage, mistake's the wrong one, but perhaps like poor decision 2-stage thing here. So this is Mary's screen. You can see that she's putting a little bit of an effort. Heart rate is a little bit elevated. She has an aero power up with 1.9K to go.
Don't tell me she's going to do a Camp Jefferson here.
Okay, so she's going uphill. Chris, earlier in this video, what did we say that Mary had to do to win overall?
Mary had to win the sprint.
No.
I can't remember.
She had to finish in front of Rosamund.
Oh, right, yeah. She had to win the sprint.
1.8K to go. How far is the forward KOM? How far is that in distance? You know this one.
It's 900 meters.
Right, so she's got 1 kilometer left, effectively.
Right.
Of hill.
Yeah. Of hill.
We can just see here, just on the right-hand side of the screen, that Leah Dixon has just pushed her drafting power up.
Not a bad decision.
Not a bad decision at all. Okay, she wants a little bit of draft just to go in just towards the top of the KOM where she'll get another power up. But then we see that, right, she's just got out of the saddle.
Really?
Okay, what is the signal when you get out of the saddle on Zwift?
Just what if someone else gets out of the saddle?
Yep.
But if it's only one person, let them go. If it's more than one,
but it means that they're accelerating. So what you look for is the avatar, then you look for the orange numbers, then you look for how many people have gone. So she's then just gone to orange numbers. Okay. So we're 7.
I see your point now, Tim. Yeah.
1.7. So why on earth she's gone on the attack with the drafting power up? I'm not quite sure in the first place. But
so that power up's doing nothing now, right?
That power up is doing nothing, but also this is normally in the men's. This is where Ian Bibby should have gone. This is where you normally see people go just before the end of the KOM.
Yeah.
Look what just happened. Look! I'm just going to highlight it. I know Mary, but
Mary
is a wonderful woman, but this Mary
is a terrible decision.
So I can completely understand what went through her head here. Is she went, I need to win this. Therefore, if anyone goes, I need to follow them. However, she didn't need to follow Leah. If Leah had walked off into the sunset, it would have been fine. And therefore, what we've got here is a situation where the most powerful power-up has just been completely wasted.
Mary.
And
so
then
you got
on
Rosamund
top of this,
there behind her.
We know Rosamund has an aero power-up. But she hasn't blown it. She's just put the watts up a little bit. And she's going to just stay in the wheel. This was a situation that you needed Mary to really commit to this. But Rosamund was all over her back wheel that she didn't need to. The other point to take from this is Sharon Bird is also dropped off slightly by that attack. So
7 seconds. It's the same with Cam though. If she'd have gone across the line here and got an aero, no harm done. But would you be willing to risk an aero to get another aero?
But that aero there has just done absolutely nothing for her. Not only would she been able to, all she had to do, if Leah Dixon had a potential of winning and had an aero and had blown it just before then, yeah, you follow it up. But Leah Dixon couldn't win. She had a draft. All you had to do was match her numbers, which Mary on a gradient is more than capable of doing. So now we go down the descent, and well, she doesn't get an aero. Rosamund is still holding hers from one of the early things. There you go. She's looking across down the descent, 68 k's an hour. No one is getting away from anyone there.
No.
And now, if I was Leah here, I'd have probably just gone for it. Just launched. Why not? You got nothing to lose. I don't know what power up she had, to be fair. You've got the problem with the T-junction again. 400 metres, 500 metres, 600 metres. How far have you got to go?
It's a lie.
It's the whole
arrow, boom, there. Arrow, boom. In fact, I'd have probably done it a little bit earlier.
She's done it now, and she's taken it up. This is where Rosamund's cadence.
Look at that. You can just see
this
that
is a seated sprint. So Mary is out the saddle, smashing it. Rosamund is just at 131. That's got to be a killer.
Tell me one thing. If Mary... Who wins this race?
The winner overall. So Rosamund takes it by a wheel.
Wait,
I would argue that an aero would help her more. What's
Keep going. Forward a bit. I don't know if it was just my screen, but it didn't look clear that... I mean, here it looks like... if Mary had an arrow...
Oh, if Mary had an arrow, it's not even a competition. It's like Cam in the men's. Cam and James walking off into the distance. Another 10 metres, and Mary also wins it.
Yeah. But the finish line is where the finish line is.
It is. I think if she'd sent it off the top, I would have been all right about it.
If she'd have sent it as in gone full gas?
If she'd just absolutely gone full gas as soon as she pressed the aero button and just put her head down and went for it was only 1 mile. Then could Rosamund, with Rosamund's tactics, there's only a certain amount of power you can get out with cadence.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And as ever, thanks to Tim Fulford, our resident Zwift expert, that's yet to win the Zwift race.